Hello and welcome to my August and July reading wrap up. I never film my July reading wrap up, so this is a combo video of all the books I read in the last 2 months. This is also the first time I've ever been ahead on my yearly reading goal. I set my Goodreads reading goal to be 70 books for this year, and like I said, I'm ahead, which means I read a lot of books in the last 2 months, so let's talk about them. The last book that I read, or I guess I should say didn't read, because this is the first book I have ever DNF'd. It is The Night Circus. I feel honestly so bad about DNFing this book. First of all, let me tell you what it's about. The book is about this circus that just literally appears out of nowhere. It's a magical circus, and behind the scenes of this circus, there's 2 magicians who are fighting this fierce competition to prove who is the better magician. But Celia and Marco, the 2 magicians, fall in love. So despite their feelings for each other, they still have to finish this competition. And I'm so conflicted on my thoughts on this book because it's actually a really cool book. The language and description is so stunning. I felt like I just kept waiting for the plot to pick up, and it never really did to me. But if you're somebody who likes a slow-paced book, then I think it could be like a 4 or 5-star read for a ton of people, just not me. Okay, now let's talk about some Colleen Hoover books. So I just filmed a video reading only Colleen Hoover books for a day, so I believe that's gonna come out next week. So I'm just gonna give a brief review of these books, but then in my next video, I'll give you guys so much more of my thoughts literally as I read the book. Hopeless by Colleen Hoover. I think this is my new favorite Colleen Hoover book. I loved it so much. It's about Holder and Sky, and they're both in high school. Despite them being in high school, I wouldn't say it's a YA book because it has very heavy subject matter. Definitely check the trigger warnings. I cried so hard in this book. I think this is the hardest I've ever cried in a book before. And basically something about Holder sparks memories in Sky of her past. And Holder has also been keeping secrets from Sky. And once Sky finds out these secrets, it completely changes her life, and they have such a passionate relationship. And I just love them so much together. Holder literally cares about her so much. And with all of the secrets that came out from Holder, completely surprised me. Never ever saw so much of this book coming, and it broke my heart just over and over again. Literally 6-star read. I want to make like a video of like my 6-star reads because I feel like I've been giving out 5 stars, honestly kind of a lot recently, and this is a book that would go in my 6-star category that I'm now forming. Then we have It Ends With Us, which I have been saying I'm gonna read for so long, and I finally read it. So many of you guys DM'd me when I said I was reading this book, like, finally, it's about time, and you are right. I'm sorry I didn't read it until now. This book, also intense. Like, I was having an emotional day reading only Colleen Hoover for a day. She knows how to get the waterworks going. This book, so sad. Also check the trigger warnings. And this book is about Lily, and she meets Ryle, who is a neurosurgeon, and they're interested in each other, but then Atlas appears, and he is Lily's first love from when she was in high school, so that really complicates things because she's now with Ryle. And that's honestly like the only summary I can give you without spoiling things, but that summary does not do it justice. The real like heart of this book is kind of like a big reveal, so I don't want to spoil it, but it is very heavy. So like I said, if you are sensitive to any subjects, 100% check the trigger warnings. This book is such an important story that I really appreciate and applaud Colleen Hoover for telling, because I literally learned so much from this book. And after you read this book, please read the author note in the back. I think that just adds so much more meaning to this book. This book is a really personal story to Colleen and her own life. And I didn't cry in the book, but it literally broke my heart, and I am so excited for It Starts With Us. I gave this book 4.5 stars. The only reason it's not 5 stars for me is I kind of had a problem with the end of the book, to be honest. I felt like it just ended too happily and perfectly for all of the heavy subject matter that went on. I think I'm gonna include a section at the end of this video where I give my spoiler opinion of this book. So I'll put the time code here. So that'll be at the end of the video if you want to hear my thoughts on the ending and why I didn't like it. I also started reading Reminders of Him, but I'm not done with it yet. I have like 150 pages left, so this should be in my September wrap up, but so far I really like it. Okay, on to the next book. Next up is If the Shoe Fits by Julie Murphy. This book is so cute. I look like I have a beard with my hair like this. Move that to the side. Anyway, this book is about Cindy, and she loves shoes, she loves fashion, and her mom is a producer on this reality dating show, and her mom gets her in as a contestant, and she's mostly going on the show because she wants to promote her shoe designs and jumpstart her fashion career, but she is plus size, and she ends up turning into a viral sensation overnight as a plus size contestant. And then she also starts falling falling for the suitor on the reality dating show. And it's just so cute. I love the reality dating show setting. It was so interesting to get to like learn about all the behind the scenes of like the drama and how the show works. So many of you guys have recommended me The Charm Offensive since I like this book, which is an M romance that also takes place on a dating show. So I'll definitely be reading The Charm Offensive soon. But yeah, if you want a fun romance with a fun concept in a fun setting, how many times can I say fun, then you would like If the Shoe Fits. Okay, on to the next book. Next are the 3 books that I read in my last 24-hour readathon. I read The Silent Patient, None Shall Sleep, and Layla. All of these 3 books were so good. First up, None Shall Sleep. I love this book so much. I gave it 4.5 stars. It's a YA thriller murder mystery, and I just feel like the concept and the plot were so unique. It's about 2 teenagers, Emma and Travis, and they both get recruited by the FBI to interview juvenile serial killers. Emma gets recruited because she literally survived a serial killer attack. So the FBI thinks she has special insight into serial killers. So first they're interviewing previously convicted juvenile serial killers, but then there becomes an active case. It was really unique and cool to learn about juvenile serial killers. I feel like that's not something we hear about in real life very much. So to get in kind of the minds of killers in this book was really cool. Then Layla by Colleen Hoover. This book was really unique. It's about Leeds and Layla, and they're a couple, but then one day Layla gets attacked and she recovers physically, but emotionally she's just like so different, really struggling. So Leeds takes Layla off to the bed and breakfast where they first met to get away, and weird stuff starts happening at this bed and breakfast. It's 100% thriller, a little bit of mystery, and the plot twist at the end of this book I thought was so shocking. There was a lot of stuff throughout this book that really surprised me, was so unexpected. I also just think thriller romances as a combo are so interesting. Then The Silent Patient. I gave this book 4 stars. This is about Alicia, who is a seemingly normal gal, and then just out of nowhere she kills her husband, and then she never speaks again. So nobody knows what happened that night, why she did it, because she literally won't talk to anybody. And she was convicted of the murder. She's in a psychiatric facility, and this psychotherapist who works at the facility is determined to get her to talk. He wants to figure out what happened, hear her story. And this was also such a creepy, eerie thriller, and it ended in such an unexpected way. Like, I never saw the ending coming. The only reason I gave it 4 stars is, I explained this in my 24-hour readathon, but although the plot twist was like super surprising, I felt like it felt a little bit contrived. So that's the only reason I say 4 stars, but it was so good. So if you have any more thriller or mystery recs, please let me know. Hello! So I have finished day 6 of my reading 7 books in 7 days video. So I'm gonna talk about those first 6 books right now. I'm gonna try and talk about them briefly just in case you already saw that video so I don't seem too repetitive. First up is Every Summer After by Carly Fortune, and I like this book so much. I gave it 4.5 stars. If you have read Love and Other Words by Christina Lauren, this book is really similar, so if you liked that book, you would definitely like this book. It is childhood friends to lovers, and it takes place over 6 summers in the past and then 1 weekend in the present day. The characters grew up together at this lake, but then something happened and they don't talk for over 10 years. I was like obsessed with this book while reading it, could not put it down. The romance is so cute and I love the characters. But yeah, it was literally so good, and I did not know what was gonna happen in the past that made them have their big falling out. The only reason it's not 5 stars is because I honestly felt conflicted about the reveal at the end. It made me kind of question how I feel about one of the characters, but other than that, it's like an almost perfect book. It's so good, must read for summer. Then I read Heartbones by Miss Colleen Hoover, and this book is 5 stars. I really loved it. It's about Bea and Samson, and Bea comes from a life of poverty and Samson comes from a family of wealth, and they are both spending the summer as neighbors on the beach. I feel like the book was very realistic to Bea's childhood of poverty, and there's also something that happens at the end that was really surprising. It totally caught me off guard, and I feel like Colleen Hoover could have just like wrapped the book up like super like yay happy, but instead I feel like the ending was very realistic, which I appreciate and like in books. Their love for each other, oh my gosh, I care about these 2 characters so much, and I just want them to be happy forever. Then we've got The Summer of Broken Rules. This is a closed door romance, so if anyone doesn't like spicy romance books, then this is perfect for you. And this is about Meredith, and it takes place at Martha's Vineyard during summer, and one of her family members is getting married, and I feel like a summer wedding is just like the perfect summer setting. And of course, Meredith meets a cute groomsman, so it's also romance, and I just love that Meredith's whole family was there, so we have a ton of characters and they all just like know each other so well. They were all such fun characters, and they're also playing a giant game of assassin, which is really fun that they're just all running around town trying to get each other out in this game. I don't know, it was just a super fun book. The two main characters had such good chemistry, like such good chemistry, and it gives book 4.5 stars. Next up, we've got Family of Liars by E. Lockhart, and this is the prequel to We Were Liars, which I honestly don't know if I've ever read a prequel before. I had mixed feelings on We Were Liars, so I was kind of nervous going into Family of Liars of how I would feel about it, but I definitely liked Family of Liars more than We Were Liars. I would give this book 3.5 stars. This book is also a good summer read because it takes place during a summer on a private island, but it's a different summer read because it is definitely sad. So if you want something different than the typical like light fun romance, but you still want it to be a summery setting, then this book is perfect. It is about the Sinclair family. Their family is super wealthy, but they also have a ton of lies and secrets, and the main characters do something wild at the end. And I did not see coming, and I was just like, what? How do I react to this? Then we've got Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen. I know Sarah Dessen is a popular YA romance writer, and I've never read anything by her before. I also give this book 3.5 stars. It is about Auden and Eli, and neither of them can sleep, so it is summertime, they're in this beachy town, and they stay up all night together, hanging out, and I feel like that's such a cool concept for a book. I've definitely never heard of another book where the characters are little insomniacs. My only complaint is that I feel like it's like 50% romance and 50% like coming of age, slice of life. So it moves a little slow at parts, in my opinion. It's kind of nice sometimes when a book moves slower. There's something kind of like relaxing and chill, but I definitely still prefer books that have like a fast-paced plot. And it is a movie. I haven't seen the movie yet, but I definitely want to watch the movie soon. And lastly is The Perfect Couple by Ellen Hildebrand, my first book by Ellen Hildebrand. I see her books everywhere. This is a summer mystery, which I feel like is fun. I feel like we don't see many summer mysteries. It takes place on Nantucket, which is a beachy town, and it involves a wedding, and at the wedding, a girl is found dead. The book is third person, but all the chapters go back and forth following different characters in the wedding party, as well as the police, and the police are trying to figure out, was this a murder or was it an accidental death? Who, if anyone, at this wedding is responsible? What the heck happened? And the groom's family is super rich and the bride's family is not rich at all. So we've got like different classes, and so many of the family members and people in the wedding party have a ton of secrets that come out and get revealed. And then lastly, in my 7 books in 7 days, I listened to an audiobook. So I'm gonna tell you about that audiobook right now. I read Sunkissed. It's about a girl who goes to this family summer camp for the entire summer with her family, so it's a perfect summer read, and she meets this cute staff member who works in the camp band, and she also loves music, but she's like too nervous to really sing in public. Like she has really bad stage fright, but they bond over music and they just have like great chemistry together. I give it 3.5 stars. The only reason I give it 3.5 stars and not higher is just because I feel like it is a very feel-good, light, fluffy romance. But sometimes that's what you need, and I feel like that's perfect for summer. And I just thought it was so cute how they're like running around this summer camp. And I also just like love books about people who are really passionate about something, so it was cool that both of the main characters were really passionate about music and really bonded over that. Oh, and it's YA. And that is all of the books that I've read the last 2 months. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, I'm gonna be building my September TBR, so please leave me book recs, especially like we're starting to get into fall. It's still like 95 degrees outside, but my brain hears September and I'm like, fall is coming. So I'm ready for some like cozy reads, maybe some like thrillers or mysteries. Hello, it is Editing Alley. I wanted to take some time to process the book a little more before I gave you guys all of my thoughts. Firstly, I want to say a few things that I really loved this book. I think Colleen Hoover did such an incredible job on telling the story and how easy it is to not see the red flags and to get sucked into an abusive relationship. I also really loved how Lily goes from kind of resenting her mother for staying in an abusive relationship with her father to really understanding how hard it would have been for her mother to leave. Where I had a problem was with the ending and with Lily's decision to co-parent with Ryle. If you read the author's note, then you know that this book is kind of autobiographical to Colleen Hoover's own experience with her parents' abusive relationship. Her parents were together, her father was abusive, they ended up getting a divorce, but then Colleen Hoover's mother allowed her to have a relationship with her father, and I love that Colleen Hoover was able to have a relationship with her father without ever experiencing abuse, and I think she was really lucky in that sense. But I think with Ryle, we don't know whether he's going to be abusive abusive to a child or not, or whether he could be abusive to Lily again in the future. So I really just think that it ended a little too perfectly for me. I do understand and respect that that was Colleen Hoover's own experience, but I do wish that she had written that ending with a little more caution, that it may not work out so perfectly for some or all people in that kind of situation. But overall, I loved like 90% of the book, and I think Colleen Hoover tells such an incredible story. Anyway, that is all the thoughts that I wanted to share on It Ends With Us, and thank you guys for watching my reading wrap up. All right, I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.